All right, let's do this. R programming. You sent some really interesting stuff my way,
Yeah.
especially that article.
Yeah.
R programming, the language for data analysis and visualization excellence.
It's a good one.
So it sounds like R is a pretty big deal in the data world.
It is. It really is. It's been around for a while. A powerhouse, especially in research.
Yeah, and I was reading about how R was used in that study, that one about predicting patient outcomes based on medical records.
Yeah.
Talk about impactful stuff. What makes R so well suited for that kind of analysis?
Well, one of the things that makes it so powerful is just the fact that, statistically, it's really got a strong foundation.
Yeah.
Like it was built by statisticians for statisticians.
Okay.
So when it comes to those complex calculations and modeling, or just handles it, with ease. And then there's this huge library of packages.
Wait, hold on. Packages? What do you mean by packages?
Yeah, so think of packages like, they're kind of like add-ons that give R these superpowers for specific tasks.
Okay.
So, for making really amazing charts and graphs, there's this package called ggplot2.
Okay.
And then, if you wanted to build like interactive web applications.
Whoa, hold on. Interactive web applications. That sounds pretty advanced. I'm picturing like dashboards where you can see data changing in real time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's really just scratching the surface. I mean, there's a package for, almost anything that you can imagine doing with data.
Yeah.
And all these packages are stored in what's called CRAN.
CRAN.
Yeah, the Comprehensive R Archive Network.
Got it.
So it's this giant repository, and it's maintained by the R community, which is another reason why R is so popular.
That's amazing. So it's not just a language. It's like this whole
Ecosystem.
Yeah, ecosystem of tools and people.
Exactly.
That's wild.
But I have to ask.
How does R compare to other popular data tools like Python? I know the article mentioned that a lot.
It did.
Yeah.
It's a common question, Honestly, they both have their pros and cons, right? So, like, Python is more of a general purpose language.
Okay.
So it's great for things like web development and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But R truly excels when it comes to statistics and making data, really visually appealing.
Okay.
So, like, if Python is a Swiss Army knife, R is like that high-end chef's knife.
I like that.
Yeah, perfect for those intricate data tasks.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's be real. I'm not a statistician.
Right.
Can someone like me,
Oh, yeah.
who's just starting out with data, actually use R effectively?
You absolutely can.
Yeah.
And, R might have this reputation for being, complex.
Right.
But the user-friendliness has really come a long way.
Okay.
Plus, the power lies in making even that advanced analysis accessible.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve. But once you get the basics,
Yeah.
you can really start using R to answer, your own data questions.
Mm-hmm.
And, even the article mentioned using R to analyze, customer reviews.
Oh, interesting.
That's something that, anyone could do. And it could be super helpful for, a business or something like that.
That's really cool. So I could use R to, like, figure out what people are saying about my favorite product online.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or even see trends in customer feedback, over time.
Oh, wow.
And the visualization tools in R let you present those insights in a really clear and compelling way.
Okay, I'm definitely starting to see the appeal here.
Yeah.
It's like R takes data and turns it into a story you can actually understand.
I love that. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so powerful. Like, remember that example in the article about tracking disease outbreaks?
Uh-huh.
They used R to, like, create these maps
Right?
that showed how the disease was spreading geographically.
Yeah.
Just think about how impactful those visuals could be for, public health decisions.
Yeah. That's incredible. It's like R can help us see patterns and connections that we wouldn't be able to see otherwise.
Exactly.
But okay, let's say I'm sold. I'm ready.
Right.
Where do I even begin? Like, is this something I can learn on my own?
You know what? There are so many great resources out there, you won't believe it.
Okay.
Yeah. The article mentioned Data Camp,
Yeah.
and they have interactive courses that are really beginner-friendly.
Right.
And then there are platforms like Coursera that offer more, in-depth courses from universities and stuff like that.
Okay, so online courses are a good option, but, I'm also a big fan of having physical book,
Right.
in my hands. Are there any R books that you'd recommend?
Definitely. R for Data Science by Hadley Wickham.
Okay.
It's like the Bible.
Really?
Yeah, for R, especially for data analysis. It covers, everything from the basics to, more advanced topics. And it's written in a really clear and approachable way.
Nice.
And it even has code examples that you can, try out yourself.
R for data science. Got it. Adding that to my list. But what if I hit a snag while I'm learning? Where do I go for help?
That's where the R community comes in, right? So you can find tons of help online, like in the R Studio community forum
Got it.
or on Stack Overflow.
Okay.
It's amazing. There are so many people out there who are willing to share their knowledge and help you troubleshoot.
Okay, that's really reassuring to know. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not just learning a language. I'm joining a whole community of data enthusiasts.
Exactly. I know. It's a cool feeling.
That's awesome. But, let's dive back into the article a little bit.
Okay.
It touched on some really cool projects that you can actually do with R.
Yeah,
Can we talk about those?
of course. I mean, there's a whole world of possibilities, right?
Right.
So you could try, analyzing financial data,
Okay.
visualizing trends in social media, or even creating like interactive maps. I think the best projects are the ones that tap into your own interests.
Right.
Like maybe that example in the article about tracking bird migration patterns
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
that was done with R.
That's awesome. Imagine being able to use data to understand something like that.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And the article even talked about using R to personalize movie recommendations.
No, that's something I could get behind.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how R can be used for both serious research and, fun everyday applications.
Absolutely.
And that's part of its appeal, right? It's a tool that can be used to explore all sorts of things, from the mundane to the extraordinary.
I'm totally with you on that. So R can help me decode the mysteries of the universe, but it can also help me figure out what movie to watch tonight. That's a pretty versatile superpower.
You got it. And who knows what other possibilities are out there, waiting to be discovered.
Right.
Maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next, groundbreaking R project.
Well, that's a lot to think about. Maybe we should take a moment to process all of this before we move on.
Sounds like a good plan. Let's take a breath, and then we can get ready to explore even more of what R has to offer.
That sounds good. Right. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground about what R can do and where to start learning.
Yeah.
But, I'm curious, what are some of the challenges or limitations people might run into when they're using R?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The article kind of hinted at a few.
It did.
Yeah.
No tool is perfect, right?
Ah,
And R definitely has its quirks.
right.
One thing that trips some beginners up is the syntax.
Oh, okay.
The way you write the code,
Yeah.
can be a bit different from other languages.
So it's not the most intuitive language to just pick up.
It can take a little getting used to,
Right.
but there are tons of resources,
Right.
helpful guides to make it easier.
Yeah.
And honestly, the logic behind the syntax, like it makes sense once you kind of grasp those fundamentals. And plus, RStudio, the main software that people use
Right.
for working with R, it's got features like auto-completion,
Oh, nice.
which just make the coding process so much smoother.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
But the article also mentions something about R's performance with the large data sets.
Mhm.
Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. So R, is incredibly efficient for most data analysis tasks,
Right.
but it can hit a snag when you're dealing with those massive amounts of data.
Okay.
Like we're talking billions of data points.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's because, traditionally, R stores all the data in your computer's memory,
Oh.
which can be limiting.
So if I'm working with I don't know, the entire internet's worth of data,
Right.
R might not be the best choice.
Well, for real-time analysis of that scale, yeah, you might need to look at some more specialized tools. But
Okay.
the good news is the R community is always innovating.
Right.
So there are packages now that help R interact with databases and cloud computing.
Oh, wow.
So you can actually work with much larger data sets than ever before.
That's impressive. It seems like R is constantly evolving to keep up with the demands of data analysis.
Exactly.
You gotta stay relevant, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But let's shift gears for a sec.
Okay.
The article emphasized this idea of reproducible research.
Yes.
Why is that so important, especially in the context of R?
So reproducibility is super crucial in any research field, right?
Yeah.
It basically means that other people can follow your steps, rerun your code,
Mm-hmm.
get the same results as you,
Okay.
which just ensures that transparency and builds trust in those findings.
Got it.
And R makes this a breeze with tools like R Markdown.
R Markdown. What's that?
Okay, so it's like this magical notebook where you can combine your code, the results of your analysis,
Mm-hmm.
and your explanations all in one document.
Wow.
Yeah, so someone else can see exactly what you did, how you did it,
Right.
and what conclusions you drew.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a game changer for collaborative research.
That sounds incredibly useful.
Yeah.
It's like baking a cake and sharing the recipe and every detail of how you made it.
Yes.
So anyone can bake the exact same cake.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious about the people behind R.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the article mentioned this vibrant community,
It is.
but I don't know much about it.
Right.
What's it like?
It's amazing.
Okay.
It's so diverse. I mean, you've got academics, statisticians, data scientists,
Yeah.
even hobbyists who are all passionate about data and R,
Right.
and is so welcoming and supportive.
That's good.
Yeah, with, online forums and conferences where
Yeah.
people share code, ask questions, and even, collaborate on projects.
That's so cool. It's like, a global network of data enthusiasts all united by their love of R.
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
What are some of the ways this community contributes to, the development of R itself?
Oh, they're a driving force, for sure. I mean, people are constantly developing new packages,
Oh, wow.
improving existing ones, and even creating resources to make R more accessible.
Okay.
They even organize events and workshops to teach R to new users.
Nice.
So it's this open source collaboration that really keeps R innovative and relevant.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see people coming together to build something, so powerful.
Right.
It really speaks to, like, the potential of open source projects.
Absolutely.
But okay, let's say someone is completely new to coding
Right.
and data analysis. Is R a good place to start? Or are there other tools that they should maybe consider first?
That's a good question. It really depends on their goals.
Okay.
So if they're looking for that deep dive into statistics and data visualization, R is an excellent choice, even for beginners.
Okay.
There are so many resources available to help them get started, and that community is there to support them.
Right.
But, if they're more interested in general purpose programming
Yeah.
or want a gentler introduction to coding, Python might be a better starting point. So ultimately, the best tool is the one that fits their needs and interests.
Right, right. It's like choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
But before we get, too lost in the weeds of comparing different tools,
Right.
can we circle back to R's real-world applications?
Of course.
Like, what are some of the most exciting ways that R is being used today?
Oh, where do I even begin?
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
R is being used to do some truly incredible things.
Okay.
So in healthcare, it's used to analyze patient data, develop personalized treatments.
Right.
In finance, it's used to model market trends
Yeah.
and make investment decisions.
Okay.
And in environmental science, it's used to track climate change and, understand its impact on our planet.
Wow.
So the possibilities are truly endless.
Okay, those are some, big picture applications. It's
Yeah.
amazing to see how R is being used to, like, tackle some of the world's most pressing challenges.
Absolutely.
But I'm also curious about everyday uses.
Right.
How can R make a difference in the lives of, regular people?
Well, R can really empower anyone to understand and analyze data that's relevant to their lives.
Okay.
You could use R to track your personal finances,
Uh-huh.
analyze your fitness data,
Right.
or even, explore patterns in your favorite hobby.
Wow.
It's all about applying those data analysis skills to gain insights and make more informed decisions.
I love that. It's like taking control of your data
Right.
and using it to, like, improve your life.
Exactly.
But before we get too carried away with all these amazing possibilities, maybe we should touch on some of the ethical considerations
Yeah.
that come with using a powerful tool like R.
Absolutely.
The article briefly mentioned this, and I think it's a really important point to address.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. With great power comes great responsibility, right?
Right.
It's so crucial to use R ethically and responsibly.
Yeah.
And, one of the biggest concerns is data privacy. We need to be mindful of where our data is coming from,
Right.
how it's being used, and who has access to it.
Yeah, that's such an important point.
It is.
We can't just blindly analyze data without considering those potential consequences. It's like, just because we can do something with R doesn't mean we should. Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then there's also the issue of bias, right? Like algorithms and models that are built with R,
Yeah.
they can reflect and even amplify existing biases in the data,
Absolutely.
which can lead to, unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
For sure.
So it's essential to be aware of those biases and actually take steps to mitigate them.
Yes. Very important.
So it's not enough to just have, the technical skills.
Right.
We need to have a strong ethical compass when using R.
I agree.
We have to be aware of the potential impact of our work
Mhm.
and make sure that we're using this powerful tool for good.
Couldn't agree more. Responsible data analysis. It involves thinking critically about the data,
Yeah.
the methods we use,
hmm
and the potential consequences of our findings.
This conversation has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Me too.
Maybe we should take another pause here, digest all of this before we move on to the final part of our R deep dive.
That sounds like a great idea. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far, and then get ready to explore even more about the exciting world of R.
Okay, so we've explored the power of R, we've tackled some of the challenges, and we've even, touched on those ethical considerations.
Right.
Now let's get practical.
Yep.
Let's say I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and dive into the world of R. What are my first steps?
Well, you've already got a great head start. You've been diving deep into this article and thinking about what you want to achieve with R.
Mm-hmm.
So the next step is to really just choose that learning path that suits your style and your goals.
Okay, so where do I find these learning paths? Are we talking online courses, textbooks, a mystical R guru on a mountaintop?
Uh-huh. Well, the guru option sounds pretty tempting,
Yeah.
but there are some more accessible routes.
Okay, good.
Remember we talked about DataCamp and Coursera?
Yeah.
Those platforms offer, fantastic interactive courses for all levels.
Right.
So DataCamp is great for that hands-on learning,
Okay.
and Coursera often has those university-level courses if you're really after, more depth.
Got it. And what about books? You mentioned R for data science earlier.
Yes.
Is that a good place to start?
Absolutely. It's considered like a must-read in the R community.
Okay.
The authors, Hedley Wickham and Garrett Krollman, they just do such a fantastic job of, explaining the concepts clearly,
Right.
providing practical examples, and plus, it's freely available online.
Free, you said.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. But, okay, what if I get stuck? I'm picturing myself staring at these lines of code, feeling like I'm trying to decipher hieroglyphics.
I've been there, trust me.
Yeah.
But don't worry, you won't be alone.
Okay.
Remember that amazing R community we talked about?
Yes.
They're there to help
Yeah.
the R Studio community forum, Stack Overflow.
Right.
They're just gold mines
Huh.
for troubleshooting. It's like having this global team of R experts on speed dial.
That's a huge relief.
Yeah,
It's great to know there's, support available when things inevitably get tricky.
of course.
But okay, let's say I've got those basics down.
Right.
What are some cool projects I could tackle to really put my R skills to the test?
Well, the article had some fantastic ideas, remember. It mentioned visualizing CO2 emissions
Right.
to see those global trends, or you could analyze customer reviews for a business you're interested in,
Uh-huh.
like uncover what people are saying about a new product launch or something.
Those are impressive, but maybe a bit daunting for a beginner.
Yeah, that's fair.
What about some smaller, more manageable projects?
Yeah, definitely. You could create a personal finance dashboard,
Oh, okay.
track your spending habits, see where your money's going each month,
Right.
or if you're into fitness,
Yeah.
analyze your workout data,
Okay.
see how your performance is improving over time.
I like that.
The key is to find something that excites you.
Right.
Use R to explore it in a new way.
Those are great ideas. It's like taking something, familiar and seeing it through this data-driven lens.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
It gives you the power to understand data and then use it to tell stories, make decisions, and even create, positive change.
So it's not just about those technical skills.
Mm.
It's about the impact those skills can have.
I love that.
It's like, R isn't just a tool. It's a way of thinking, a way of approaching the world with this, curious and analytical mind.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And that's what makes this journey so exciting, Who knows what you'll discover when you start exploring the world through the lens of R.
Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into R programming. We covered a lot of ground from the fundamentals to real-world applications and even, the importance of those ethical considerations.
It's been a great journey.
If data is the new language of understanding the world, then R is the translator.
I like that.
So go out there, embrace the power of R, and who knows what amazing insights you'll uncover. Happy data diving.